Jim Jones just snapped, full-on meltdown mode, and went off on Tony Yayo during Memphis Bleek's podcast. And here's the wildest twist. Bleek doesn't even rock with Yayo like that either. So now everyone's asking what really sparked this. Why does Memphis Bleek have smoke with Tony Yayo? And what made Jim Jones crash out on camera like that? Stick around, because this one's got layers, deep ones, and it heats up fast. Once you see how everything connects, you'll understand exactly why the tension boiled over the way it did. Now, let's start from the top, with Bleek. His side of the story is simple but heavy. Memphis Bleek's been locked in with Jay-Z since day one. They go back decades, real brotherhood vibes. He's been HOV's right hand since the Blueprint era, always loyal, always 10 toes down. But Tony Yayo, he's been throwing jabs at Jay for years. Sneak dises, interviews, slick talk. Yayo's made a habit of poking the bear. And when it comes to Jay, that's a line Bleek doesn't let anyone cross.
Like I just said, we just came back off tour.
Yeah.
You know, with Fifth, and we still touring. Still. And I do my own tours too for people. Oh, yo.
You see,
I do my own tours. I did tours in Canada. I did a tour across the whole Germany and the Swiss Alps. And that's why I don't care about the hate. Cause I'm like, I got the possibility to do my own tour. Like something with Memphis Bleek. Memphis Bleek said Nori. Yayo said Jay-Z didn't have us on tour like he did, or I eat my own halal. I eat my own halal too, if you want to say that. To Memphis Bleek, I just came off my last tour. All I'm saying is when you see Jay-Z in a setting, he never really, when he's doing a Beyonce show or whatever, you don't see Memphis Bleek on the stage and him being brought out. You know, even if I'm doing the hype man shit with 50, he's bringing me out. I'm making money. I'm going to.
That's that man girl too. That's it. That's Hov's wife tour.
Yeah, that's Hov wife tour.
So I believe if Hov was out on his own, he would bring Bleek out. There is no need for him to bring Bleek in a situation where it looked like if this was last tour you're talking about with the Cowboy Carter.
Right.
Yeah.
So to me, because I look at Bleek as a loyal guy, I'm a loyal guy to Jay. But I look at like Fifth, my guy Hervé, one day we had TRL, and it's the Young Gunners there.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to him about it. And Hervé says loud, you don't gotta worry about nothing. You got 50. Jay-Z doesn't do nothing for these guys like 50 does. And Hervé, I think he worked with them too. But he said that to me, and that always stuck in my head. Rest in peace to him.
Boss. But Yayo didn't stop there. He decided to bring Bleek's name into the mess. And that's when things got disrespectful. He said, look at Memphis Bleek. He not shining, he not winning. Jay-Z don't take care of him like 50 takes care of me. That one line, it lit up the entire internet. It wasn't just a diss. It was a shot at manhood, pride, and legacy all at once. And in hip-hop, when you drag someone's mentor and their name in the same breath, that's not just drama. That's a declaration of war. That single jab from Yayo didn't just stir the pot. It flipped the whole table. Suddenly, it wasn't about Jay-Z and 50 Cent anymore. It became personal for Bleek, for Jim Jones, and for anyone who still believes loyalty means something in this game. And from that moment on, the energy shifted. The joke stopped. The smiles faded. Words like that don't disappear. They echo, and this time, that echo turned into an explosion heard all across hip-hop. Arguing over who's got the better sugar daddy in hip-hop? That's wild, man. Real ones don't move like that. I was always taught, you can't feed your family off another man's plate, because the moment he stops serving, your people starve. So when Tony Yayo starts saying, yo, 50 takes care of me better than HOV takes care of his crew, that's not a flex, that's embarrassing. Real men handle their own. If your brother helps you out, salute him. But bragging about it? Weird energy. Yayo's whole angle seemed like he was calling Jay-Z selfish. Saying HOV only looks out for himself and never helps anyone win. But the way he said it made it sound more like a contest about who's being taken care of. And that's a strange hill to die on, especially in this game where pride means everything. So when Memphis Bleek pulled up on Drink Champs, he couldn't let that slide. He had to set the record straight. Bleek kept it calm but made his point clear. He said, yo, HOV don't have to look out for me. I'm good. I'm eating. If he does, I'll be even more up. But don't get it twisted. That's not my lifeline. Translation? Forget Tony Yayo, I'm self-made. He wasn't begging for validation. He was reclaiming his respect. Because for Bleak, loyalty ain't about handouts. It's about standing tall next to your people, not under them. But here's the twist. That same call out your crew energy Yayo had for Jay-Z, he turned it on Jim Jones next. And that's when things got ugly. Everybody remembers the G-Unit versus Dipset Wars. 50 Cent, Cameron, Jim Jones, the chaos, the tension, the iconic moments. Most fans thought that was ancient history. Turns out, not quite. When Yayo went on Math Hoffa's podcast, he dropped a bomb. He claimed Jim Jones left stacked bundles in the hood, and that's why tragedy struck. He said, Stack Bundles was one of my favorite rappers. Jim had Stack and Maxby. Stack had a Porsche, but was still in the projects. No disrespect. But when 50 had me, I was in Battery Park, walking barefoot with Dior sneakers waiting for me. That's love. That's protection. Heavy words, basically accusing Jim of not protecting his own. Now, if you don't know, Stack Bundles was that guy. Signed to Jim Jones, part Bird Gang, full of star potential. Jim brought him on tour, gave him exposure, but Stack never left the hood. And that's where he lost his life. That story still cuts deep in hip-hop. For years, people whispered that Jim took Stack's whole style, his sound, his fashion, his aura, and built on it. But Jim's always pushed back, saying he tried everything to move Stack out the hood. He offered him safety, a better life. But Stack wouldn't leave. In one emotional interview, Jim laid it all out. I was about to buy Stack, Max, and Melly a whole brownstone in Jersey. None of them wanted to leave. I told them, you can still visit the hood every day, but live better. Be safe. They didn't listen. And what I feared happened. Jim stood on that truth. He said he did everything he could to protect his brothers. But you can't save someone who won't let you. And that's one of the coldest lessons in this game. No matter how much love or money you throw at your people, sometimes you just can't save everyone. And then came the explosion, Jim Jones snapping back at Tony Yayo. From private jets to exotic cars, Jim wasn't holding back. He started flexing hard, talking about the tours, the shows, the money, Miami weekends blowing hundreds of thousands, 2 tour buses in Atlanta, you name it. Jim was fired up, reminding the world just how heavy he and his crew were moving back in the day. And the only reason Jim even brought any of this up, because the people in that room, like Memphis Bleak and others, knew Stack Bundles. They lived that era. To Jim, this wasn't just rap talk or podcast drama. This was personal. So when Tony Yayo's name came up, you could already feel the tension rise. Jim wasn't talking from ego. He was talking from emotion. Stack wasn't just an artist to him. That was family. So when Yayo mentioned Stack's name like that, Jim took it as pure disrespect. A line you don't cross. Now, I can't tell you what's 100% fact, whether it's a $25,000 story, the G-Wagon situation, or any of the rumors floating around. But one thing for sure, anything involving Stack Bundles hits deep for Jim Jones. So when he sat down with Bleak and Yayo's name came up, he didn't hold back for a second. Bleak tried to keep things chill, but Jim, he went off. Jim started talking his talk, saying he's not starving, his people aren't starving, and that this whole who got the better sugar daddy debate is straight ridiculous. Then he hit them with the quote of the night. A lot of y'all don't understand the business Bleak got going on. You see Jay and assume he's holding everybody's hand. That's why you got people like Yayo saying, Jay don't take care of his people. Bro, I don't need Jay-Z to go on tour. I move how I move. Then Jim got personal. He said, Yo, you look like you need to be taken care of. You look like you need the dentist, need hygiene, need help. Tell your man 50 to buy you some toothpaste or something. I got a G for every bump on your face. Yeah, Jim snapped. Bleak tried to calm him down, saying, Nah, you good my G. They need to hear this. But Jim doubled down. From there, it turned from a debate into a flex-off. Jim started comparing lifestyles, cars, homes, money, basically letting Yayo know he could never measure up to what he's built. But here's the twist. That's not even what Yayo meant. Tony Yayo never said Jim was broke. In fact, he gave him props, said Jim's doing well. His real point was that Jim's crew doesn't look as blessed, that they're not shining the way 50's team shines. And if Jim had caught that nuance instead of taking it as a money diss, maybe things wouldn't have blown up. But pride? Pride talks louder than logic. Jim felt like Yayo was clowning him in public. And Jim don't play about his name or his people. He fired back, plain and raw. Ain't nobody feeding me. I built this from the ground up. Then came the real shots. Jim started calling Yayo out for living in 50's shadow, saying he's always hiding behind his boss. Y'all do what y'all do. I move different. I don't watch nobody's money. I just handle mine. At that moment, you could feel the shift. The room got heavy. It wasn't a conversation anymore. It was confrontation. Bleak tried to pull it back, but Jim was gone. Years of frustration and old comparisons boiling over all at once. He made it crystal clear. He's not backing down. Not from Tony. Not from 50. Not from anybody. But Tony Yayo, he didn't stay silent either. Instead of firing off a diss track or going live to rant, he hit Instagram with one slick move. He reposted Max B, Jim's longtime rival. And that one post, it exploded. The internet split instantly. Half the fans rode for Jim, saying he stood his ground and spoke like a boss. The other half said Yayo hit a nerve, and that sometimes the truth just stings. Now the question is, whose side are you on? Backhand index pointing right, Team Jim Jones or Team Tony Yayo? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more hip-hop deep dives, drama, and real talk, just like this one.